Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tom here, and we got both myself and Darren Crawford on the line. Darren, are you ready to break down the blogging breakthrough blueprint?
I am. Yeah, let's do this thing. It's a hard word
All
to
right,
say.
man. Yeah, that's so we're going to code name this Triple B going forward, just because I don't know what made us decide on that name. Um, but it's a tongue twister. So Triple B is commencing. So this is all we're this is going to be like an overview. We want to kind of lay out the foundation of what we're going to be covering really in depth in this coaching. We got a lot of videos planned out and a lot of content that we're going to be covering. So it's going to be really cool. But just to give you kind of an overall idea of what this whole thing is about, we've been tinkering with a systematic process for building niche businesses. It's a system that's super simple to set up. You do it without SEO or keyword research. You don't have to worry about any of that technical stuff that normally niche businesses start with. You won't have to worry about saturation or finding like the perfect market. And we're going to be doing it using completely free, low risk, highly targeted traffic. So, you're not going to be having to dump out like hundreds of dollars for pay per click or, buying banner ads or solo ads. We're going to show you a really cool way to get extremely high targeted traffic. So, this is definitely going to be different than other things that we have presented before. I mean, Darren and I, we've done a lot of different coachings before. We've taught a lot of different business models, but this is going to be kind of going against the grain of the things that we normally teach. And a lot of people get a lot of things backwards. And we're kind of coming to realize this after we've been tinkering with the business model that we have during the last couple months. See, we're not going to be digging for the perfect keywords or for those untapped niches or trying to find like those little micro sub niches of people that you can market just like one specific information product to. We are going to be going very in depth with niches, but as you're going to see below, like we're going to start with passion niches, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But the cool thing is that when you start digging for your own niche, and when you do your own niche discovery, which we're going to cover in the next video, you're not going to be left wondering if you found the right niche. So many people, even in the last coaching that we did, so many people, they never really got past the niche research phase of the process because they were never sure whether or not they had the right niche or not. All the factors didn't line up. The criteria for finding niches didn't really work out right, or it didn't look like the example. And so a lot of people have hesitation. They don't want to get into the wrong niche. They don't want to build the foundation for a business in something that's not going to make them money, that's not going to be profitable down the line, and that really leads to a lot of I guess what most people would dub paralysis by or an analysis paralysis, where you just don't get past that step because you don't know if you have every little piece right. You don't have to worry about that with this, all right? And that's because we're going to be starting with passion niches. And what those are is you're going to be starting with what you're interested in, where your actual passions lie. And Darren, do you break down exactly what the passion niches are?
Yeah, so these are the things, the way I look at it, and to piggyback on your last point of not having to do deep research on these niches, is you tend to find that people will do the research, they find one that kind of lines up a little bit, and they go for it, but they don't know anything about it. And the learning curve is really steep, and they don't stick with it. And so it was really a bad fit. Maybe everything else lined up, all the numbers look right, but in their gut, they just didn't really know anything about it, didn't enjoy it. So we're going the opposite way. We're going with the things that we're actually interested in, the things that I could spend all day long reading about, writing about, having dinner conversations about, the things that that you're just into, that you love to do. There are at least a handful of other people out there doing that are into the same thing that you are. I'm going to guess that there's probably thousands and there's potentially millions of people that are into the same things that you are. And it's the things that get you excited, the things that you wake up and you're doing every day already. You're probably reading the magazines, you're reading the blogs, you're reading the news. about those things, and that's the stuff that you gravitate to. So those are the passion niches. That's how we define it. And what we're going to do here is we're going to focus on people and not on keywords, because like you see here, people buy, keywords don't. Never has a keyword logged into Google and clicked an ad and bought something. It's always been a person. And that's where people get it wrong, is they write things for keywords, but people are the ones that are actually reading your content and buying your stuff. And write it for the people, write it for yourself, and it will be much more successful and much less stressful.
Yeah, exactly. And so that really begs a question of, you have to ask yourself, what do people want, right? So, we're going to be showing you, like how to make content, like how to create the content, actually how to, do most of the, how to dodge doing most of the hard work yourself. But really what you're going to do is you're going to think about your niche, all right? What information or what content do people in your niche want to know about? If you have an interest in this niche, keep in mind this is a passion niche. All right, you're going to be going into the niche that you're actually interested in. So you're already going to know about it. You're already going to have a general idea of the market itself because you live it. You live and breathe it. So think about that and think about things that people actually want to know about in that niche. What would interest those people? What content would they be more likely to share? And what medium works best for that? And as an example, like personally, I'm into racquetball. I play racquetball. I try to play it every day. It doesn't usually work out, but I play it at least every other day. I talk to people all the time that play racquetball. I text them. I talk to them on Facebook. I'm in Facebook groups about it. I go to tournaments. I play travel league. I'm very involved with the racquetball community. So, I know what kinds of content would interest them. All right. People want to learn about the shot mechanics and, how to hit the racquetball or how to drive serve, stuff like that. But I know about that because I'm involved in that niche, because I'm passionate about it, right? And so also, along those lines, what medium works best? Typically, videos work best for that niche. As an example, with racquetball, because it's something that you would want to demonstrate. So there's a lot of videos on YouTube, as an example again, of like how to drive serve or how to hit a forehand or how to hit a backhand. So because it's something that I'm passionate about and that I know about, I already have an idea of what kind of content people would like to see, what would interest them, how it is best presented for them to learn, and what kind of content people would be more likely to share. So those are the kind of things that that we're going to be bringing into this training and showing you exactly how to discover for yourself. So that transitions into the whole concept of curation. And curation is the main concept behind this entire system, all right? It's the entire system that Darren and I are going to be laying out for you in this coaching all revolves around curation. And so we're going to dig into both what it is and why it works in the next couple slides here. So as for curation, Darren, do you want to lay out the next couple of slides here? So the what and the why behind curation, because you're like a master of this.
So what is curation, right? So you can see number one, find valuable content that's already created. So if you think about the content out there, the hardest thing when you're doing a blog is probably coming up with ideas to write about. And so the easiest thing to do is read what other people are doing and then make commentary about that content. So this is what we're going to do is we're going to go and find that content that's already created, that interesting stuff in your niche that you as the market are interested in actually reading. So if it grabs your attention, then it's probably worth sharing, and then you probably know enough about it to have an opinion that you can add to this. So we're going to take that, we're going to compile it into one reliable, valuable resource, which is going to be your site. Your blog is going to be the authority site. And something that Tom said in an earlier slide was he wants to be part of the community. He's part of the racquetball community. He's involved in it. He's not marketing to them. He's not being, all markety. He's just being a cool dude in the marketing or in the community and sharing his information and helping them and making it bigger, better, stronger. And that's what your site's going to be. It's not going to be about marketing stuff. It's going to be about being the reliable resource for sharing that information. So the third step, we're going to take a summary of the content, inject your personality, add a little humor, interpret it in your own fashion. We're going to add some observations that enhance the content. You may even take a couple different pieces of content and Frankenstein them together and make a whole new piece of information. And then something that never gets done really outside of in the IM world, at least the internet marketing world, is we're actually going to give credit to the original source. We're actually going to link. So it's sort of reverse. In online marketing, people are always like, well, you got to go get backlinks. So you're spamming everybody's site to get links back to yours. In ours, we're actually going to send a link back to the original content. And we'll come to that in the traffic later as to how that's going to help you. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about why curation, right? So I said it already. Coming up with content is probably the hardest thing, but there's no hard work in creating content if it's already there. If all you have to do is add your own personal point of view to it, how hard is that, right? It allows you to go into those passion niches. So if you're into racquetball, which is a relatively small niche, you can still do it. You can dominate it because those people are passionate. Tom, I mean, let me ask you this: how many, you've already said you try to play it every day, if not every other day. That's 3 or 4 times a week. You're into the leagues. How many rackets do you have? Or have you gone through?
Oh my God, probably in the last 2 years, I've gone through at least 10 rackets. I usually carry between 4 and 5 with me at any time. But but you got to think though, that's 10 rackets in the last 2 years, and the model I play with is $250. So
exactly. So I wouldn't say this was my passion niche, but I was involved in this industry for a lot of years, and my family has a lot of deep ties in it. But it's the bowling industry, and it's the same thing. My sister, she bowled for past tense Team Canada, and when she travels around the world bowling tournaments, she would have 6, 8, 10 bowling balls with them because each of them had its own use. And they're a couple $100s a piece, so there's thousands of dollars in equipment, and bowling balls go out of style like nobody's business. So there's constantly this churn and spending money and practicing and leagues and tournaments and a whole everything, right? It's a very passionate niche. There's a lot of money being spent in it, and they can't get enough information about it. So it's also, to the third point, it's best for that social traffic. And social is fast. Social is what goes viral. So if you're making good information and you're sharing stuff and you're finding things that people are not coming across, then you are going to find stuff that is going to be interesting to the market, and you're going to be looked at as the go-to source because you're uncovering all this cool stuff. It's really simple to set it up. It doesn't take much more than a WordPress blog, and we'll show you our favorite formats for that in later videos. And it's very stable and it's very scalable business model. We're going to show you a couple examples here.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, I want to expand too before we move on. Darren, you were just talking about bowling balls that go out of style, like nobody's business. Well, in the racquetball niche, there's about 4 or 5, top companies that produce rackets. Now, keep in mind, this is just racquetball as an example. But there's 4 or 5 companies right now that sponsor all the pros and that, are the leading manufacturers of the racquetball products and equipment. And every single year, they all come out with multiple new models for their rackets, whether they have a different frame design, whether they're strung differently, whether, they have different weights or different colors. Some companies just repaint the rackets and literally launch them as a new line, and people flock to them. Every year, you will see people with the latest model, not necessarily because it's better, but because it's, the newest and latest and greatest. And, those are rabid markets. You got to think it's people are buying rackets left and right. New gloves come out for, holding the racket. There's tons of things that, the new innovations that they come out with all the time. And racquetball, I know that just because I'm involved in the community, I know that it's actually it's definitely a smaller niche than something like basketball or football or whatever. It's not on ESPN or anything. In fact, I checked at my local bookstore. They only had 2 books about racquetball in the store. But I can tell you, I can list off probably 100 people right now that will rush out to buy the new racket every single year just because it's the new racket. So although it's a very very small niche, I would even gander to say that it's a micro niche of sports. Because sports would be the bigger market. Racquetball would be definitely like not even a niche, but probably a micro niche. Relatively speaking, but it's full of rabid buyers. First of all, people that will buy the new equipment. But I mean, it's like the public at large would perceive it as being a very, very small niche, despite that. So that just goes to show you that something even like racquetball that only has 2 books in Barnes and Noble, let alone like whole sections like fitness and weight loss and stuff like that. There's other things out there that people are, very passionate about that they will spend a lot of money in. And the system here is going to show you how to capitalize on that using very simple processes in a very simple system. So yeah, now okay, so let's lay out the traffic problem. And actually, Darren, do you present this because this is like your whole creation here.
Well, there's basically 3 types of traffic, and social is going to fall into like a middle ground of both. But we have paid traffic, and the problem there is it's expensive and it's complex. If you've ever done Google AdWords or Facebook, you got to know a little bit of something. You can't just go out there and you can't expect it to be a positive return on investment right out of the gate. And but it does make things quick and easy because you can get traffic immediately. The second one being SEO traffic, so search engine optimization. That's a long, slow road. I've repeatedly said before that SEO bores the heck out of me. It makes me fall asleep. It gives me brain tumor, headache, just awful. Hate it. But it's something that's the necessary evil in that you need to optimize your content. So if you're relying only on that, it's going to be a long, slow, and complex road. But you should be doing it anyways so that you're building up, again, that authority and having the content. And the third part is the social traffic. So it's sort of the 3 little bears, right? It's just right. It's very powerful. It's not too complex. It's very systematic, and you get to be part of the community and be social, and you don't have to worry about, do I have the right H1 tag, and do I have breadcrumbs or no breadcrumbs, follow, no follow links? Am I spending, my cost per click is too high? You don't have to worry about that stuff. You just, like we've been saying, be part of the community, share the information you're finding, help that community be better, and that's where this traffic comes from. And as long as you're into making your community better for your passion niches that you're totally into already, then you're going to do great.
Absolutely. And the really cool thing here is that out of these 3 different types of traffic, paid traffic, SEO, or social traffic is the only form of traffic that I think it's the only form of traffic that that you can see reliable results from, and that you can see almost instant results from. The second you start going out there and socializing and posting in blogs or posting in Facebook groups or all the other various forms of traffic we're going to be talking about, you will see traffic coming to your website almost immediately. All right, usually within the first day, sometimes within the first hour, and sometimes sooner than that. With paid traffic, it's really hard, like Facebook ads, it's hard to get your ads approved. With PPC, it's hard to optimize the ads for A, a high quality score, B, get a high click-through rate, and C, just finding keywords that have a low cost per click that you can get a decent impression count with. With SEO, I mean, hell, you might not see traffic come in with SEO for the first 30 days, and that's with low competition keywords. So social traffic is, it's kind of the perfect hybrid here because we're going to be piggybacking off of other people's high quality content and just organizing it in a way via curation, and presenting it to people in a way that they'll want to share it. So by going out and socializing with people, and tapping into the social veins and strategies we're going to be covering in later videos, it's going to lead to immediate traffic, and it's going to be, you're just going to see results faster. All right, but you are going to see results, and it's going to motivate you to keep going.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? Like SEO is there's always a Google slap just around the corner. And if anybody that's been affected by the penguin and the panda updates and all this stuff, your rankings just disappear. So is it stable? I don't know. But most of the people go about doing SEO the wrong way, and they get a new site, they buy it today, the domain's 2 hours old, they put a blog up, they put some content, and they drive, they go to Fiverr and get 500 backlinks to their site, and immediately, anybody in their right mind would look at that and go, yeah, that's not real, that's fake, and Google gets that, and they discount it or sandbox you. We're taking the exact opposite approach. We're making Google chase us. If you were, to use a crude example, but a beautiful woman in a bar, you know, the guys are going to be all over you, and if you just play hard to get, they're going to be all over you more. And so we're going to actually ignore Google, go the social route, and Google's actually going to come find us. And I've had countless times where I've never done anything to Google. I never told Google about the site. I didn't ping it, and did a little bit of the social stuff. And the next day I was already ranking for those pages. And this is a brand new site. So Google found me. I didn't go tell Google about me. And it made me basically unstoppable because they discovered me. They found me. So
yeah, and what's really cool is that one of the case studies that I'm going to be showing you, just over the course of this coaching here, my website was indexed. Actually, Darren, I didn't tell you about this either, but my website was indexed within 48 hours of creating it after I set up the internal structure and the framework, which is something that we're going to walk you guys, everybody through, in a later video. But after setting up just the framework of the website and connecting it to the various other web properties, it was indexed in under 48 hours. The kicker is that I turned off pinging with the posts, and I didn't do a single thing to attract the attention of Google. So like and we're actually going to show you how to do that. We're going to disable pinging. So whenever you post a new blog comment or a new blog post rather, it's not going to notify Google. The only way Google will find out about it is through other properties and incoming links, and that's going to make it even more. It's going to rank it even higher in the eyes of Google because you're not going out there trying to force traffic back to it. It's finding you in a very natural and organic way, and it's something that's going to be entirely slap-proof. At least that's what we've seen thus far.
Yeah, well, the reality is, except for the built-in pinging that's in WordPress by default, right? If your grandmother went and started a website, she's not going to go and start pinging websites and telling Google to come find you and buy backlinks and all that. It's not going to happen. She's going to go tell a couple friends, say, hey, I just got a blog, come look at it, and she'll put it on her Facebook page and maybe tweet about it if she's really cool, and tell people. She's just being part of the community. She's not doing it for Google. She's doing it for the community. And that's what we're doing here. And it's really powerful.
Exactly. So now, this is why you don't need to be an expert. And a lot of people are like, well, whenever we talk about, like, what are you passionate about? What are things that interest you? Immediately people start to say to themselves, well, I'm not an expert in anything, or I don't know a lot about any one particular thing. That's cool. You don't need to be an expert with this. Okay, so get that out of your head. You're going to start with what you're interested in. And the cool thing with that is that if you're really interested in it, if it's one of your passions, if it's a passion niche for you, you already understand the market. And whether or not you believe that, it's absolutely true. With racquetball, for me, I'm not a pro. I'm not a racquetball pro or anything. Like, I'm pretty good. I've only taken like a handful of like formal lessons before, but I understand the market because I play racquetball every day. I talk to people that play racquetball every day. So I understand it. Furthermore, I know what kind of content people would be interested in because I understand the market. So, when I go to YouTube and I look for racquetball videos, I can point out a video, first of all, that I like, and second of all, that other people would like, just based off of whether or not I find it interesting. So because of that, all you need to do is align the niche that you go into with what your passion or what your interests are, which is going to give you a built-in understanding of the market and a built-in understanding of the content that market would like to consume. And that's going to be the crux of what you're going to curate. So that's going to form your entire, basically the foundation of your business, and it's going to make this a breeze. But, going back to the original thing here, you don't need to be an expert in the niche.
And how powerful is that, right? Because I remember, I think I told you, one of my very first blogs ever was around distance running training, and I don't like distance running. I don't really like jogging. And it was about a week and a half into it, and I was like, this sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. I just had no passion for it. I just didn't care. And so it just withered, and I never renewed it. And so um, I wasn't an expert, but I had no passion, which is what really I think keeps the flame going, that fire, and gets you up every day to go read about it. I wasn't reading about it, didn't care, and it took me a long time to go through the content to go and find something that was relevant, because I didn't know if it was relevant or not. I didn't know the language. I didn't know the lingo. I didn't know what was going on. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, and then, so now what if you ask yourself, well, what I know about isn't that interesting? First of all, I would disagree. And here are some examples, all right? So these are smaller websites that are completely curation-based, all right? So these are sites that are basically using the same formulas and strategies that we're going to be showing you in the coaching, but they're making a hell of a lot of money doing it, all right? So there's the first one is Family Frugal Fun, and this site is all about couponing. Now, Darren, you have worked with like the mommy bloggers, correct?
Yeah, they hate that term, but yeah, the coupon bloggers, deal bloggers, mommy bloggers, they are essentially curating coupons, and some of them take it to a niche. Coupons for Walmart only, for example. But yeah, they're curating. They're just going out and finding these coupons and then sharing it with the marketplace.
Mm-hmm. And so now, and actually, the next one is Front Porch Ideas and More. And this is a site, this is actually your buddy Dan's parents' website, and it's all about porches, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Like porches.
Porches and how to decorate them. And, in the fall, they talk about, setting them up to, little presentations, and they go on trips to take pictures of porches and turn that into content that gets published on their site. And that's their passion. They love porches. They love, decorating them and looking at them and all the different types. And there's tons of content, and they're making a fantastic living off of the site doing what they love.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the Doggington Post. And this is actually, this kind of borders on the medium size site, if you will. It's all about doggy news. They actually have a team of like 5 writers on the Doggington Post. And it's a play on Huffington Post, which is a big, huge site now. But so the Doggington Post is all about dog news. It's all about, they have like product reviews on there. They have like, it's just like a trendy website for anything related to dogs, dog training, all that kind of stuff. But keep in mind though, it's all about dogs. It's dog news, and it gets thousands of searches a day. Probably either tens or hundreds of thousands of searches or visitors per month. But it's all about dogs, just curated content on dogs, that people are finding content and curating it, or creating original content. It's a mix of both. But it's a heavily curated site all about dogs. So there you have it. And then the last one, I think, is probably the most ridiculous one, by the way. It's Flashlight Forum, and I think it's flashlight-forum.com if you wanted to check it out. It's all about flashlights. So let's say your passion was flashlights, all right? You have it made because this forum gets like, what is it, Darren? It's like hundreds of, like 100,000 searches a month or something.
Man, I looked it up. It had, I thought, 270,000 posts in the forum, something like 25,000 members. It was insane. I've never seen something as, in my mind, trivial as flashlights that had that much information.
Talking about flashlight, I thought it was just like the accessory that you keep in your convenience cabinet upstairs. Like, I didn't think that it could spawn such a popular website that has like thousands of members.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm surprised I didn't come across things like, red Lego brick, forums. Like that's like you're just into red Lego bricks. Like not forget the green ones and the blue ones, only red. But that doesn't exist that I know of. And Flashlight forum is about as ridiculous as I got. And but that should just prove to you that anything will work. Honestly.
so I mean, like relatively speaking, I would like if you said couponing porches, dog news, or flashlights, I would think great. I have it made. I'm in racquetball, and people actually know about that. If you said like, hey, my passion is flashlights. First of all, I would laugh at you. Second of all, I would eat it because there's a forum that's highly trafficked that you could generate a lot of traffic from based off of flashlights. So that should go to show you just with the smaller sites alone here what's possible with this. But there are some bigger ones as well. First of all, there's Loop Insight, which is all about Apple and like Apple news and products and everything. There's Daring Fireball, which is a very popular tech news blog that they cover all kinds of tech news and opinions on the latest and greatest technology. Which it's very popular because technology changes like on a daily basis. So very hip site there. There's Lifehacker, which basically just covers tips and tricks and downloads for getting things done and getting things done easier. So it's meant to basically make your life a little bit easier. And then finally, there's the Drudge Report, which is it's basically just a news site that curates news out there, only with a political slant to it. And to give you some of the insight into these sites, so it's one thing just listing off some sites that are that focus on curation as a main strategy for content, but let's get into some of the insight into some of these sites. So Darren, break down actually the next few slides. So
Yeah.
Start with Loop Insight here.
Right. So Loop Insight is essentially curation at its finest. So they'll take interesting bits of news that have been spread out around the web that are usually related to Apple. That's probably 60 or 70% of their stuff is around Apple products, and then the surrounding universe, Microsoft and Google and so forth. They get $1,500 a week for sponsoring their being the sponsor of the week, and it's almost always sold out. Weeks and weeks, months. I think they sell it 3 months in advance. So $1,500 a week, nothing to sneeze at, right? What's that? $6,000 a month, 70 grand a year, $80,000. Plus, they have a kind of a premium version where they have a $3, I think it's $3 micropayment type of a setup for getting some premium content or an RSS feed or something like that. Making tons of money, and they get to do what they love all day, which is talk about technology and give their opinions. The next one, Daring Fireball, is more of an advanced version of Loop Insight. Tech and opinions, everything around the web. But he is getting about $8,500 a week to sponsor that. And I can't even do that math in my head. But, that's $35,000 a month. So there's a couple $100,000 a year just in the advertisements from sponsors, not including whatever affiliate links he's doing. So I just want to give you guys an idea of like these are all content curation. They're really not making any original stuff other than their opinion about some other article. And one traffic site estimates 113,000 visitors a day. Honestly, it's probably higher than that. Lifehacker, love this site. So there's always something cool on Lifehacker. If you don't actually subscribe to them already for their RSS feeds, you're missing out on some really cool stuff like MacGyver type stuff, right? And for you, Tom, because you're younger, MacGyver was a show back in the 80s. Like
I know what MacGyver is. He has a mullet.
Yes, he did.
He was a mullet, and then he jumped ship and he went over to Stargate. I know MacGyver.
So millions of visitors a day, and it's really just tips and tricks and hacks and downloads and just all kinds of cool stuff. And they're just really content curation with at its finest really here, because they will go and find some stuff that is on some obscure website that some guy has made a Raspberry Pi, which is like this little computer do-it-yourself kit, and put it into a old Game Boy case and made something out of it. And it's on some dude's website in the far corners of the internet, and they found it and they wrote about it, and he's probably blown up his server with all the traffic that he got from it. So that's Lifehacker. It's really cool. Drudge Report. So I think it's Matt Drudge writes news with a political slant. He tends to break a lot of stories. I think he may have been the one that broke the Monica Lewinsky story back in the 90s. Worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It's estimated at over 1 billion page views per month. This was last year's numbers, so it's probably even more. And 15 to 25 million a year just in revenue. So all he's doing.
We're talking about a website that's basically just he's just like putting a slant on news. Like he doesn't make the news; he just reports about it.
Yeah, and he just reports the news with his political slant. So he's got some humor and he's got some his own little opinions, and people want to read about it, and to the tune of millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So,
final example here.
Yep. So Perez Hilton is just celebrity news and gossip, and some website that I was on said his estimated net worth at $30 million, and his blog was valued at $20 million in 2010, so 2.5-3 years ago. And so at this point, all he does is just take pictures of people that people have provided him and tell stories about celebrities and who is knocked up and who's cheating on who and whatever. I mean, it's drivel, but it's drivel with many zeros at the end of it. So it's made him a celebrity in his own right. So not making the news, he's not out there chasing Justin Bieber and getting photos of it. He's just writing about him, and he's giving his own 2 cents.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like just with those examples alone, it really proves that curation is everywhere. It's nothing new. What we have here is just a fresh perspective on it, something that's scalable, but you can start and launch yourself very, very quickly and scale very, very quickly. And it's incredibly effective. The thing, though, is that a lot of people are doing it dead wrong. And this goes back to the mommy bloggers problem. And, we kind of talked about this in the emails that you guys got, before maybe a week or, however long ago, when we were talking about the mommy bloggers, but they were making a huge mistake, and that's that they were not building a list. They were getting massive traffic. They were getting, some of these blogs were generating tens of thousands of visitors a day. But the problem is that they did not funnel that traffic into a list. And us internet marketers, we know how important building a list really is. If we had 50,000 visitors to our website every single day, the first thing that we would do is we would start building a list. But they just didn't know about that concept. And that's really the most important thing, especially when you're getting higher volumes of traffic, because think about this: lists are king. All right. Content might be king, so lists might be queen. But anyway, lists are really, really important. And with a list, you can build rapport with your subscribers to develop a relationship with them, which is critical. But then after you have that list, you can monetize it in any number of ways using information products like, off of ClickBank or whatever. You can send CPA offers to them. You can promote physical products like Amazon or, the list goes on and on. The concept, though, is that if you have a list, you have an asset that's recession proof that will never be affected, like an SEO or any other kind of business model. You don't have to worry about Google slaps. You will always have this valuable asset. And as long as you keep this tight-knit relationship with your lists and you foster that and work it in the right way, you will basically build an asset that, will pay you for life effectively, as long as you can continue to communicate with this list of people. So with all that in mind, we came up with a solution. And this was also inspired by, the mommy bloggers. And after Darren and his buddy Dan could, really see exactly what they were doing and what they were not doing, it was very easy to draw a bridge between the two and come up with a solution that combined the best of basically everything that we've talked about so far. And so it starts with the facts. First of all, the power of curation can't be ignored. All right, curation is everywhere. We've shown you examples of, people doing it on a small scale with, front porch ideas, all the way through, the Dredge report that's, valued at millions of dollars, that generates hundreds of thousands of views per day. It's everything from small scale to, massive thriving business. All right. Also, passion niches place the focus on content and on people, leading to social traffic. And social traffic is free, it's easy to get, it's potentially viral, and it's actually fun because you're in a passion niche. It's, you're going to be involved in something that you're passionate about, and that you're highly interested in, which is it's very, very important for actually wanting to do work. It's awesome when the work that you have to do that day is something that you look forward to doing. You don't have to go and if I had to sit there and backlink my own website or something, or worry about the traditional SEO business model, I would want to gouge my eyes out, or I would find some way that I can outsource it, because I would hate doing that. I just would not look forward to it. But if I can go in every day and talk about racquetball, or get to find cool videos on different racquetball concepts and strategies, that to me is fun because I'm learning something. I'm involved in the niche that I'm already passionate about. So not only is social traffic fun, but it's easy and it's incredibly targeted traffic. So very cool. And then the fourth and final point is that building a list is critical. So these facts combined actually led us into a new strategy. All right, and that is going to be the core concept behind this entire coaching in a nutshell. So what we needed was a hybrid of all of these concepts, something that was easy to repeat, something that could work nearly any niche out there, from kitchen porches to racquetball to celebrity gossip, and something that let you start seeing results as soon as possible. And that's something that we really hammered home, especially with the social traffic. You could see results, you could see traffic come to your site within 10 minutes of posting something on Facebook or Twitter. So the results and seeing results as early as humanly possible is incredibly important, not only for the mentality and putting effort into work, but it's just critical going forward to see results from the work that you do, which is not something that most people ever end up seeing with things like SEO or with paid traffic. And so the solution at last, and what we're going to be diving into extremely heavily and detailed with this coaching here, is that we created tightly focused micro niche blogs with a foolproof social traffic strategy and a built-in list building mechanism that are fully scalable and expandable. There's a lot in that sentence right there. I bolded the key points, but that is going to be the thing that we're going to show you in this coaching. So in this coaching, you're going to learn the content discovery and curation strategies. You're going to learn simple site mechanics for rapid deployment, so you can actually get up and running, honestly, within maybe an hour or less. I mean, you could do it in a half an hour. And you're going to learn the strategies behind getting free, highly targeted social traffic that can start coming in within minutes or hours of you actually doing the work. So, obviously, Darren, we're going to be talking about a lot more than this. This is just, on the surface level here. But do you have anything to add to this here?
No, I'm just really excited because I've had a lot of fun exploring this stuff over the last many months, and I've actually I didn't tell you this. I just got the banner back, but just got a website around Minecraft put together for my son who turns 8 this week. He is totally all into Minecraft, and so we're taking his passion and we're turning it into a business for him. So we're gonna teach the next generation how to do this. And so if an 8-year-old can do it, trust me, you can do
it. For sure. So the most important thing of all here, though, is that we're going to show you in this coaching alone, by the way, which you now have access to, we're going to show you how to turn your passion into a thriving, scalable, high-impact niche business that's rewarding and actually fun to work on. And those things really, it's really, really hard to combine all of those things into one. But we've really done it with this system, and that's why we're so excited about it. So that's kind of it for the overview video here. We just wanted to introduce different concepts to you, like curation, and just kind of talk about the gist of what this is going to be about. There's actually going to be a couple more videos within this week of the coaching that you're going to have access to right below this video. We're going to be talking about, how to discover markets, how to verify them, how to find things that you can promote, doing some really cool things. So that's it for this video. Again, we're really excited to have you on board here. You're going to learn some really interesting things that you can template out, not only to this business, but probably to anything else that you could possibly do. And you're actually going to have a lot of fun doing it. So with that being said, continue on down this page and watch the other videos, because we're going to be diving into the concepts that we talked about in this video, only with a lot of depth and covering some extremely actionable content so you can get up and running the fastest. So with that said, thanks for watching this, and we'll see you in the next video.